What up? CDPR has finally released the biggest update yet for CyberPunk, and I believe the game is now finally worth some of your time. I know everyone in the gaming community has been ripping on CDPR and their, failure that was CyberPunk, and I like the game, but that doesn't mean that they didn't fall short on all of their promises and delivered us a barely cooked rotisserie chicken rivaling the delicacy of cooking with Jack for us to sit down and sink our cave-dwelling teeth into. From buggy AI to horrible performance issues, the game was riddled with every possible issue. To be honest, they even missed a lot of basic things like actual police and police chases, being able to shoot from your car, jump from your car. The game felt like it was lacking in almost every department. Let me be a little bit more specific about that. The police seemed very strange. They didn't seem like police. They kind of acted like meter maids that just happened to have guns and they had to somehow magically appear when you commit a crime. There were no police chases. There were no real fights. Everything kind of felt really easy with them, and to be honest with you, they felt mid.
I will find you.
And it made the game feel so uncharacteristic when it came to that sort of thing, especially when you compare it to its rival GTA. In single player, the police are always super fun and a joy to fight with, and it's the same thing with multiplayer. And of course it can be annoying, but what are you going to expect as police in a video game? It's an open world game where you're in a city. Who else wouldn't want to have some fun police chases? That's something that I think anybody is going to complain with, especially for a game that we've been waiting years for, and we've had all these expectations and all these promises for. And one of the biggest things that they always talked about were the fact that there was going to be this highly detailed police system, and that never came into the game. But finally, after so much begging, they added police chases. I and many other people have been waiting for the longest for something like this, and it's finally here. You want to know something else? They fixed the performance too. Oh my god, a AAA studio finally figuring out how to do the most basic part of their job? I'm not gonna lie, I actually love the game again. The performance is buttery smooth, especially with the new ray reconstruction, which I can get into a bit more later. It just makes the game feel super smooth and look really nice. Let's take a bit of a deep dive into these patch notes, because this is wild. So I'm obviously not gonna read every single patch note that's here, because there's just way too many for me to read, and I really don't feel like reading that much. So let's just get into it. We're gonna start off with combat. They added the new police system that I was just talking to you guys about. The NCPD will now chase you when you commit a crime, whether on foot or in a vehicle. The types of units in pursuit and their behavior will depend on your NCPD wanted level. These chases can include various NCPD vehicles, roadblocks, and max tech swooping in with the AVs. I actually have some footage of that, which I'm probably going to show right now. The NCPD will now be present in the world, actively patrolling the streets of Night City. Officers working at crime scenes will now also engage in pursuits. I did see this in game, actually. I have some footage of it. I'm going to put it on screen now for you guys so you can see it. There were kind of just cops littered all around. They were walking around, just chilling, doing their thing, patrolling. I had some cops that were in this little boarded off area, and they were just kind of chilling there until I shot. And they just came running from there to me, and then I had the rest of everybody just driving on me. I'm not gonna lie, the police in this game feel so much scarier than they felt at the beginning. Like, it genuinely feels like I wouldn't want to get in trouble in this game, because they're actually pretty intense. I'm not even gonna say too much on it. I'm just gonna let the footage speak for itself while I read through this. The NCPD will now be present in the world. You can now hear NCPD radio chatter through the radio. It's now possible to quick hack NCPD officers. All right. right, and now we're going to move into vehicle combat. Added the option to engage in combat while driving a vehicle from either first person or third person perspective. I got to test a little bit of this too. I did like it. Not gonna lie, I like the fact that I was able to not only have like this little auto aim, but I could manually aim as well, and I could heal inside the car. So it was super helpful for those moments where maybe you're on a mission and you're trying to drive away from enemies and you got a bunch of them on your tail. You could just shoot at them instead of having to lose them and then get back into the mission. While driving, you can use pistols, some machine guns, and health items. Some vehicles come equipped with mounted weapons. Melee combat is possible on motorcycles. Finally, vehicle tires can now be shot or slashed. I definitely got my tires shot a couple times. Another thing I want to include, driving still sucks. It honestly feels like I'm sailing a boat. It's really floaty. It doesn't feel very fun. It's really annoying to drift as well because the car for some reason always manages to lose control. But I digress. Let's just get back into it before I go on a whole different tangent. Introduce new perks that unlock a variety of vehicle related abilities such as quick hacking vehicles, increasing collision damage, boosting vehicle weaponry, allowing the use of Sandevistan and Koreznikov cyberware, and the ability to exit moving vehicles quickly and stylishly. That one is probably my favorite. Remember when you used to get out of the car in CyberPunk and your character would literally just step out of a moving vehicle and just be perfectly fine and unscathed almost? Maybe they would fall over. Now you actually fall out of the car. You will jump out of the car actually. It's got an animation to it. It doesn't look stupid. And you also can slide out of your car, I believe, by double tapping F. So pretty good quality of life improvements. I'm not gonna lie. I like what I'm seeing so far. Vehicles vary in durability. I feel like that should have been that way from the beginning. Vehicles equipped with crystal dome technology receive additional protection. How are you going to know whether or not they have it? You can now encounter AI driven and randomized chases between different factions in a given district. Ooh, I did not see any of that and I want to see that. We made numerous improvements to enemy AI, including various improvements to enemy netrunner AI, improved NPC reactions to grenades and their use of grenades, improved NPC reaction time when flanked, a faster detection by enemies when you're walking or sprinting. Enemies equipped with Sandevistan cyberware will now activate it to counter a player who uses their own. That's cool, actually. Enemies that don't hear a silenced weapon but do notice the bullet impact will now properly investigate the source of the gunshot. Awesome, making it more realistic. Made improvements for scenarios where a group of NPCs can join another group in combat against you. Oh, that would be some. Imagine like the NPCs just like randomly join the cops to fight against you. Like, oh my god, that would be crazy. It's like a huge war. Net running changes, added perks to expand net running capabilities. For example, new overclock mode allows you to upload quick hacks by consuming health if you have insufficient RAM. You can also acquire the ability to queue multiple quick hacks on a single enemy. Rebalanced RAM costs, rebalanced damage and upload time, change the effects of some quick hacks, remove the option to use breach protocol on enemies. How come they removed that? I don't know what breach protocol really did. I just kind of would always use it, but I'm not sure if it was ever something like really important or not. So I don't know why they removed it. I don't know, you know, what was the significance behind it, but who knows. I'll probably do a little bit of my own research after this. Perks and skills, a complete perk tree overhaul. These trees now contain fewer perks but impact gameplay in a more meaningful way. Progressing in a given perk tree will allow you to unlock special abilities such as overclock mode for netrunners, bolt shots for tech weapons, the adrenaline rush ability for body focused character builds, and so on. Alright, so I just completely lost my place because first and foremost, my cat decided to walk behind my monitor and almost knocked over everything because he decided to pull on every one of the wires with his paws. But not only that, I had this other issue with my mouse pad. I'm sorry, I need to rant because I have nobody to talk to. Nobody's online. So I have this mouse pad and I've had it for like 6-7 years now. I bought it for like $13 a little while ago. Favorite mouse pad ever. If you know, you know. This mouse pad, it just started gluing to my desk. Like it got glued to my desk out of nowhere and I didn't even know because at the time I didn't have to move my mouse pad to clean, you know, the dust off of my stuff because it wasn't dusty yet. So finally came the time for me to clean it and I try to pick it up and it's just stuck to my desk. And then the more I try to pick it up, the more it rips off. And it got to the point where the fabric underneath, like I don't know what it's called. It feels like some type of rubbery material. It just literally came off and it stayed attached to my desk. So that just happened again just now. So now my mouse pad is getting even more destroyed, and I don't know how. I don't know how to fix it. I don't know what to do about it. So I can't even use my mouse pad. And I was planning on doing some like huge R6 content because I got back into R6 and I've been aiming really well. So the only thing that I can do for R6 in the meantime is post those videos of my gameplays that I had before until I end up getting a mouse pad, because this just sucks balls. And I don't think I'm even gonna be able to play most of my games because I have no mouse pad. You know what I mean? It's either I just stick with Baldur's Gate for weeks until I get a mouse pad, or it's that sucks. I just cleaned my mouse pad too. Like I fixed that whole thing, cleaned my whatever. Let's get back to the video. Because we introduced extensive changes to the perk system, your spent perk points on existing playthroughs have been refunded. You can now choose to reset your attributes once. Feel free to redistribute these perk and attribute points to suit your preferred playstyle before you continue playing. We merged the previous skills into 5 new ones: Headhunter, Netrunner, Shinobi, Solo, Engineer. These are not restricted by their corresponding attributes level on existing playthroughs. Your progression on old skills has been transferred to their new counterparts. These are not restricted by their corresponding attributes level on existing playthroughs. Your progression on old skills has been transferred to their new counterparts. Skills unlock new passive buffs every 5 levels and can be leveled up to a max of 60. Remove the option to reset all perks at once. Instead, it is now possible to refund each perk individually for free. Introduce new kinds of progression shards, attribute shards, carrying capacity shards, and cyberware capacity shards. I like the ending of that because they said the cyberware capacity shards. I wonder what that means, because I heard that they were going to add cyber psychosis in the new expansion, and I feel like that's going to tie into it, because if you have to upgrade your capacity for cyberware, because let's say if you wanted to add new cyberware, you have to, upgrade the capacity that your character can handle for the cyberware itself, you know what I mean? So it's going to definitely be a super cool way to go about the mechanic. Armor is now provided primarily by cyberware. As a result, clothing's purpose is mostly cosmetic. Clothing items no longer have mod slots, and what? I actually didn't know that. And only some items provide bonuses. The number of cyberware implants your body can handle is now determined by your cyberware capacity. I knew it. I literally was just talking about this, and the fact that they literally clarified that I was right after is crazy to me. Cyberware implants are now attuned to specific attributes. The higher the attribute, the stronger the stat bonus. Some cyberware slots can be unlocked by acquiring specific perks. Added multiple new kinds of cyberware. Visiting Ripper docks is now more immersive. When getting cyberware installed, you sit on the operating chair and experience different animations depending on the type of implant. Added a side quest introducing the new cyberware system for players who load on an older save on the 2.0 update. Weapons. I'm not gonna lie, I've had like 15 outtakes of just this beginning part, because for some reason it just doesn't fit for me. Like, it says changed at the beginning and I'm trying to continue it and say changed the, but it's just like changed the, like, it's just, it doesn't fit right. It's like it should be like we changed the unique effects of some, instead of it being like changed the unique effect. It just doesn't, it doesn't sound right. It doesn't roll off the tongue. I don't know what it is, but they do that a lot for Cyberpunk. Like, even in regular AI conversations, they just don't say anything about I sometimes. Like, I don't know what it is. They just sound so weird and robotic, like when they have conversations. Changed the unique effect. Like, if you play Cyberpunk, you'll understand, and I'm pretty sure like we know why. It's just a pet peeve. I find it really funny. Changed the unique effects of some iconic weapons to better reflect their distinctive features. I finally got that after like 70 tries. The first equip animation can now be triggered at any time. Hold B or double tap Alt while the weapon is holstered. Added smoke grenades, added new melee weapon finishers. You can now find a thermal katana in the game. Thermal katana? That sounds fire. Added new weapon mods and reworked some existing ones. Once installed in a weapon, mods are irreplaceable. Oh. All obsolete weapon mods will be removed from the game. In their place, you will find a new random weapon mod in your backpack. The quality of any mods added this way depends on your level. Remove the silencer slot from revolvers. Remove the scope slot from light machine guns. Why? Why would they remove a scope slot? You think LMGs can't have a sight? I'm not sure that one makes very much sense to me, because I do believe that you can put a scope on an LMG. I don't know why they're limiting you now, but it is what it is. Implemented a new way to craft weapon mods. To craft a mod, you must first have 2 mods of lower quality. Expanded the stash wall in V's apartment to display all of the iconic weapons from the base game. So for traffic, NPC vehicles can now switch lanes to avoid obstacles. Cool. Pedestrians will now try to avoid running into moving vehicles. Thank God. I don't know why they wouldn't have done that before. NPC drivers are now better at avoiding you when you are on foot. Improved braking, acceleration and suspension of cars in traffic. Some NPCs now might react aggressively when you try to hijack their vehicle. Various improvements to traffic density depending on time of day and night, resulting in more realistic traffic behavior. Driving with a quest-related NPC in your vehicle no longer disables traffic in the occupied lane, resulting in the feeling of a busier city. Finally, I have been waiting for that. I don't know what it was, but whenever I got into like a mission and I had, somebody in the car with me, I always felt like the AI just stopped. I'm not sure if that's just like a me thing. I don't know, but anytime I was in one of those quest related things, there was just no AI, or there was just a very little amount of AI in comparison to what there was whenever they weren't in the car. So it was a little weird. PC specifications. Here's where we're gonna get into the nitty gritty. So if you're a nerd like me, listen up. Updated PC system requirements. An SSD is now required to run the game. Wow. More information can be found here. I don't know why I read that. Added support for DLSS 3.5, which introduces DLSS ray reconstruction, a feature that improves the quality of ray traced effects. A GeForce RTX graphics card is required. The option is available in settings, graphics, in the NVIDIA DLSS section. DLSS 3.5 is only available if path tracing is turned on. So funny thing with DLSS ray reconstruction, I was trying to figure out how to turn it on for the longest, because I didn't read the patch notes myself, and I figured out that you needed to turn on path tracing. But at the same time, it was just like, why do I need to turn on path tracing? You know what I mean? It's just like, bruh. But I turned on path tracing and then I turned off ray tracing, and the ray reconstruction stood on. So if you don't want ray tracing, just turn on ray tracing real quick, enable path tracing, disable ray tracing, and then you can keep your ray reconstruction. At least I don't know if that's a fix for everybody. I don't know if that's just how it worked for me in my situation, but give it a try. To make sure we already know about updating game drivers. This is for AMD guys. Introduce a new AMD simultaneous multi-threading SMT located in settings. It allows you to set SMT to off only to physical cores, on all logical cores, or auto, ensuring the performance average across different locations and situations in game is optimal. This change was implemented in cooperation with AMD and is based on tests conducted on both sides. The crowd density setting has been moved from the gameplay tab to the graphics tab. Additionally, crowd density is now tied to the graphics quick presets and will change depending on the selected preset, but it can be customized independently if needed. As PC system requirements have been updated, running the game on an SSD is now a requirement on Steam Deck. Updated Steam Deck graphics profile for improved frame rate stability. So there is a whole lot to unpack here. My main thing that I feel like was the most interesting was the fact that they added the DLSS ray reconstruction, and I will say it bumped up my frame rate drastically. Now I've played this game on a 4090 and a 3080, and the frame rate was just completely different on both ends. So without the ray reconstruction, I was getting about 60-67 FPS on the 3080 and about 70 to 90 on the 4090, and with ray reconstruction I went from having that 60 something to having 110 on my 3080 and then having 144 on my 4090. So it was doing really well. Probably one of the best additions to the game that they've had in quite some time now. Aside from all the other things like the AI and traffic things, I am really pleased with the performance fixes, but I'm also glad that they did some other things, like they also changed some of the perk system. They did some stuff with the cyberware. I like all of the things that I'm hearing right now, and I'm glad that there's so much stuff here to unpack, because it really felt like CDPR kind of put us on the back burner while we waited for the expansion. Like we were just kind of twiddling twiddling our thumbs and making ponytails out of our pubic hair, and they're finally showing that there's some semblance of care that they've got for the game. I genuinely hope that they don't end up just working on a brand new game and completely leaving this game behind. I want to see something from CyberPunk, and I've been waiting for so long already. It's been some time, and we deserve it at this point. Anyway, aside from all that, aside from my ranting, I appreciate y'all for watching, and I'll see you later. Peace.
Wants her. Abduction was a standard intercorp extraction, nothing more.